Hello everyone. Because of this COVID-19 problem, in this peak period, we all are forcibly made to be at our respective houses. Of course, forcibly I mean inevitably. This is actually a peak period where we go with lot of preparation after board examination. Almost 40 to 45 days, whatever we get, we used to go very rigorously with the NEET coaching particularly. But because of this problem, physically our children are not in position to come down to the college and have that rigorous coaching. Nevertheless, our teachers are putting their efforts, be it reaching to you via some video conferencing platform or in the form of some short videos. They're trying very hard to reach you all, and I hope even you all also being at home are working with the same seriousness, with same intensity, and one has to. This competition is lot. In this competition, if you want to survive, you will have to strike hard, work hard. I take this lockdown period particularly like blessings and disguise for those who are very serious. Ample of time you have got to prepare on your own. Maximum concept part conceptually you are clear. What you need to do is that only revise certain fundamentals as far as physics is concerned, certain fundamentals to be revised, and more of objective type of questions you should practice. That's the key to the success for the NEET examination. Anyhow, as an effort to reach you all, I'm trying to go with the part in physics from where 3 to 4 questions have been asked in the previous examination, and that is optics part, which is again been divided into two parts, geometrical and physical. From geometrical optics around 2 questions roughly, and from physical optics 2 questions. So from physical optics, today I will try to cover the phenomenon called interference. So let me straight away move to understand basics from the perspective of NEET examination, what we have in the interference chapter. While going ahead to know about interference, you know that light can be dealt in variety of the form. In wave optics, we deal with light in the form of wave. In physical optics, we go with wave nature of light. And you are aware of that. Light is a electromagnetic wave. I mean, it consists of time varying electric field as well as time varying magnetic fields. All the details about how these fields propagate, generate, we will not go in all those details. So this is what I'm talking about, maximum electric field at particular instant of time. I mean, we call it as amplitude. This is electric. Whereas what I have got, this is the magnetic field. So point to be noted here that while dealing with light in physical optics, most of the phenomena which are being exhibited by light are as a result of interaction of electric field with matter. So while discussing about light as a wave in physical optics, our focus is going to be completely on electric field. So this is the electric field which varies sinusoidally. So I mean its magnitude as well as direction keep on changing with respect to time. So this is electric field vector you can call. This is the electric field vector what I am trying to represent. Electric field vector is also called optical vector. So by this time you might have understood what could be the reason to call it as a optical vector. Simple reason, as while dealing with phenomenon exhibited by light, only electric field is responsible. So you can call it as a optical vector, a light vector, or as usual electric field vector. Variation of this electric field we can give with an equation at any instant of time. If we are willing to know how much electric field we have, this instantaneous electric field, as I go with the equation, general equation which we use to represent harmonic quantities or variable quantities, sinusoidal quantities, particularly with this equation. Here you have got this as amplitude of electric field, maximum value, and to be mentioned, to be noted over here importantly, depending upon value of this amplitude during propagation of light through any media, if it is constant, that amplitude is constant during propagation, such a light wave whose amplitude is constant during propagation we call as a plane wave. So light propagates through the air with a constant amplitude. So you can call light as a plane wave. While dealing with this phenomenon of interference, we come across two important words. Before going ahead, I need to mention them. We call it as coherent and incoherent. I'll be using this word coherent and incoherent. Let me just mention about it. Coherent wave or coherent source of light, we mean the two sources or the two waves which have got constant phase difference or zero phase difference, they need to be referred as a coherent, and of course frequency must be same. Whereas incoherent waves or incoherent sources of light are those which have got variable phase difference. It keeps on changing from time to time. Such sources or such waves are to be called as a incoherent waves. Okay, so though we are dealing with competitive exam, we need to have an idea about how do we get coherent sources. So for that we come across basically two methods of getting coherent sources, and one of that which we make use to study about interference is called wavefront division method. Wavefront and all those things, of course you have studied in theory. I don't go in all those details. So what we do to get coherent sources by this method, we have an arrangement of two slits here, as like in one of the experiment, Youngster experiment I mean, you have got two slits here. This is the one slit and this is the another slit. So these two slits are illuminated by a light, by a source which I have here. So the light from the source goes on propagating in the form of wavefront, and this is the wavefront which falls on this arrangement. Now from here, light has to come out through these two slits, these two holes. The light which comes out over here, I'll have again in the form of wavefront. I have got in the form of wavefront. So what I see is that from single source, from single wavefront, by having such an arrangement, I could see that the single wavefront has got divided into parts, and these two slits which are responsible for division of wavefront we call as a coherent sources, because the light which we have got emitted from here will have zero phase difference or constant phase difference, and of course this being these two wavefronts being the part of this which are emitted from same single source, naturally frequency of the wavefront which I have got emitted from here has to be naturally same, and thus these two slits serve as a two coherent sources. Second method of getting coherent sources, we have got amplitude division. What we do in this method, or what we need to do, say I have got one thin film like oil floating on the surface of water. So this is the thin film what I have, over which let me make a light to fall. Here it falls. As you are aware of that, the light which is incident over the surface partially undergoes reflection, partially refraction, and again same thing will happen over here. Part of the light will reflect from this boundary, part of the light will get transmitted, whereas over here again part of the light get transmitted, part of the light reflected, keeps on repeating that. So what I need to focus is over here. So I can see that from this surface I have got two reflected waves, or rays you say for a time being, though we are dealing with physical optics. Let us say these are the two rays. I have got incident light, and that incident light has got divided into parts, and those parts are like reflected part, transmitted part, and because of division of this incident light into different parts, naturally intensity of reflected light and intensity of transmitted light will be less than that of the intensity of incident light. So what I see is that these two waves which are reflected from here, I will have with a less intensity, and from one source, I have got two sources. But the light from those two sources, like one you can say this source, another this source, light from these two sources, I will have with less intensity. And for your information, intensity of light is being decided by amplitude. When I say that intensity is reducing, naturally I mean amplitude has reduced. Amplitude, this whatever the amplitude I have here, that has got divided, and thus I have these two sources as the sources of light, and from these two sources the emitted light I will have of same frequency and phase difference either constant or zero. Phase difference constant or zero because I did not use two different basic original sources, like only one source I have. But by division of amplitude of this original light, I could get two sources which naturally will have same frequency and constant phase difference. So you can call them as a coherent sources, and this is the method where we get light, I mean coherent sources with division of amplitude. By having understood about these basics, let us go ahead straight away to understand about the phenomenon which we need to focus, interference. What it is, you can simply understand by having this arrangement. Say I have two slits. These two slits I am going to get illuminated by source of light, and the light coming out from these two sources, secondary sources I call them as, goes on propagating in all direction. So I have the light waves arriving over here from the first slit. I have light waves arriving over here, and this happens at different places on the screen. One of the place I'm noting down there as a P. So the light emitted from the source I can represent by a simple equation which I already mentioned. A sin omega t. This is the equation for light wave. Variation of electric field I have got. Whereas light from second source I can get represented by another equation. And note here that these two light waves I have different amplitude, same frequency I have, but their phase is different. They have a phase difference, and that phase difference is phi, you can say. So these waves everywhere on the screen, they arise simultaneously at the different points, and depending upon in what form they are arriving at different places on the screen, what we observe as a modification in the intensity of light. And this phenomenon in which we observe modification in the intensity of light because of superposition of these waves, and that superposition naturally in accordance with principle of superposition. You are well known about that, like a two waves or two or more than two waves, whenever they arise simultaneously at a place, the resultant displacement is a vector sum of individual displacement. So by doing that, or by using the principle of superposition, if you work out the resultant wave, you have done that already. That happens to be E equal to R sin omega t plus theta. I am not going to go with all those details of deriving this equation. Mind that by using these two equations and making use of principle of superposition, you can arrive over here. Now what we need to do, our focus need to be over here. In this equation, R is a resultant amplitude. R is a resultant amplitude. As I mentioned, as I said, you will have modification in intensity of light. So the intensity at particular place on the screen is completely going to get decided by this resultant amplitude. And for your information, this R also, with the due course of this derivation or the process of derivation, you got expression for R also. And from competitive exam point of view, expression plays a vital role. And the expression is, I write R square equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos phi. Note this, very important. Your R is a, as I mentioned, resultant amplitude. A, amplitude of the first wave. B, amplitude of the second wave. Phi, phase difference between these two. So, by making use of this equation, we will go ahead with the different forms of this equation and different formulas and many more things in connection with interference. So we were here, this is the expression for resultant amplitude. Intensity at this point P will be either maximum or minimum depending upon value of R. So if I is to be maximum, the resultant amplitude has to be maximum. Look at to this equation what you have got. Value of R gets decided by, because A is constant, B is constant. So this is the deciding term which will decide value of R. So to have R maximum, cos phi has to be maximum, and that is plus 1. This is the maximum value of cos phi. And this maximum value of cos phi you get for phi equal to, it could be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi and many more. So I can write this phi equal to 2n pi, where n I have got, taking the values 0, 1, 2 and so on. So we have one very important condition now we have arrived at. As I said, intensity at P maximum or minimum gets decided by R, and R is maximum for the values of phi to n pi. So you mean this is the condition for getting maximum intensity at particular place on the screen, and condition is phase difference between superposing waves need to be even integral multiple of pi. This is the even number. So such interference where I am getting maximum intensity at P, if I am getting maximum intensity, I call such interference as constructive interference. Constructive and joining together, getting more you can say. So the word constructive we can use from that perspective. Okay. So condition for constructive, even we can write in term of path difference also. You know the relation between path difference and phase difference, delta pi equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. So this I know, these are the values. This I need to get. So I can get path difference equal to, if you go on substituting, what you arrive at is n lambda. So even this is also important condition for getting constructive interference. The only difference, see, look at these two boxes. This is condition, both of them are for constructive only. The only difference, this is in term of phase difference, this is in term of path difference, and both we need to remember as far as competitive exams are concerned. Going ahead, if at P, if I'm getting minimum, intensity is minimum, and that could be because of I'll get minimum. Naturally you can understand, when do I get I minimum? If R is minimum, if resultant amplitude is minimum. And when do I get resultant amplitude minimum? Naturally, based on this parameter cos phi value. If cos phi is minimum, and how much is that? Minimum minus 1. You are aware that cos minus 1 we get for the values of phi equal to pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, and so on. So this helps me to write phi equal to 2n minus 1 into pi. See, you find this equation written 2n plus 1 also, but I prefer to go with 2n minus 1. That is to avoid certain further complications while using the equation. Okay, so I go with 2n minus 1. See, if n equal to 1, what I get is pi. I mean, I will have a point on the screen where the superposing waves have got phase difference pi. I will have that place as a with the minimum intensity. And such places on the screen where intensity is minimum, we say is because of the interference which is of the type of destructive interference. So we have mentioned now two types of interference, constructive and destructive. So from the point of competitive exam, this equation need to be remembered. Same even in case of destructive, I can write condition in term of path difference. So by making again this equation, I can make use and write delta x, that I get 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. So you can substitute in that, you can arrive at this condition. So I'll write direct equation. So in competitive exam, I will have to recall these boxes. I will have a questions on condition, based on these formulas. So getting minimum and maximum intensity is going to be completely decided by phase difference or path difference, you can say. So hope these conditions you are very much aware of that.